right. Sweet. Nothing. Dude, he's telling the people. What's the people?
Okay.
What are we doing anyway? I don't even know.
So, at first here, we were gonna go up under here and take out this muffler and make this, you know, a straight pipe piece from up here to over here. And upon further inspection, it gets a little involved. So what we were thinking there, you know, being that we have to hit a drop before, either weld it in the car or pull all this back out. So something we haven't done before is we're gonna come back here and try to get rid of this piece and put a straight pipe from here, and then try to make a Y back here and keep these at the end. So I think that's the plan here. Try to make this back piece and keep these tips on there and see how it goes.
This is what happens when the exhaust falls. You know, whack yourself in the dome piece. Ooh, it felt great. She's out of the car. Now I gotta see what it sounds like with no muffler on the back. Go ahead.
What?
It didn't do a damn thing. Literally, I don't notice the difference. We gotta do the other one. There's a little bit. There's appropriate shop close. Let me go after it. Banana juice is flammable, by the way.
Oh! Where's the product? We got a roof rack to put on my car.
Yeah. Wait, we do?
Yeah, dude.
Think about going down to the game.
What, Phillies?
No.
Oh, Eagles are tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the first preseason.
James and Edith are going up there.
Are they?
Sounds like now.
All right, now we got both mufflers out. Let's give it a shot here. Whenever you're ready. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There's the difference.
Oops, I don't want to record. We're recording now, bro. So here we is on the welding table. So we're gonna mock this up. So the way we're gonna do this is we're gonna tack the tubes that we're gonna keep.
You guys have a good, you on vacation next week too?
Yeah, he's with it. So with all these complicated bends, and so what we're gonna do is we're gonna tack the ones that we're gonna keep like such to the table, like such, like that, and this. And so then we can cut the muffler out and still have these and remain in the same place where they are, so that we can actually make the bends that we need to put it in place. So that's what we're gonna do now, tie it down. All right, so here it is all tacked to the table. This thing is
Jigged up.
stable. It ain't going anywhere. So now what we're gonna do is cut off the muffler, and everything should stay where it is.
And we gotta jig up along the way.
And then we'll jig up along the way, yeah. All right. Here he is. Final jig. Got him tacked under there on the hanger and the tube. Keep it up where it needs to be. Same thing over here. Got cut it out. So now we basically gotta junction these two together with pie cuts and bends and whatever we can find around here to make. All right. That's what our boy over here, Jake's doing. He's making these little pie cuts that are 9 degrees each.
18.
He's making these little pie cuts that are 18 degrees each.
This, like the 18 is the one that's 9 on both sides.
Okay.
And then this one that's the flat on this side is 9 degrees, just on the one side.
Okay.
So you can go up on the flat.
And so we're making these little pie cuts so that we can make that bend we were talking about. And so we're making a bunch of those first so that we can get our angle that we're looking for, and then we'll start piecing it together. And here's a good example of how it's going to be. This is just testing it out and seeing how everything worked. And so that's what it'll look like when it's done, essentially. Obviously this is just nonsense, but you get the idea. All right, so now what I'm getting into here is tacking it together. And obviously they're taped, so they're still very movable. And I'm checking my alignment as I go. Obviously it's pretty way off, but that's the whole point of these pie cuts, is I can twist them and move them around any way that I want. So as I start tacking these together, I'm gonna keep checking my angle, make sure it's correct, so that when I get there, all I have to do is use these pieces, trim them up into the shape that I need to get me into that pipe. Oh yeah. Okay, so I had to change this around just a little bit, just because the way that I had it wasn't gonna work. Because if you look at the way that this exhaust muffler is, it has this big belly in it, right? And what I was doing was going straight from this bend up to that, so that all the pie cuts that I had would fit. But now what I was doing was actually going up straight to it. And the way the floor is on the car is it also has this belly in the floor as well. So if I had gone straight to it, it would have hit the floor and it would have been a big issue. So what I had to do is cut this down. I'm still gonna use these pie cuts, but then I'm gonna get the angle right, so then all I'll do is put a straight piece up to it. So I had to just maneuver it around a little bit, and you'll see more of what I mean when it gets in the car. All right. Here it is all tacked up. Now all I gotta do is just, fully weld all this stuff before we break it loose from the table, and then we'll go ahead and fit it in the car. So it looks good. So the way I'm gonna do it is weld a little bit, what I'm gonna do is weld as much as I can with it in the fixture. Obviously, I'm not gonna be able to get directly under it. I really would like to get one of those button backs so I can get into smaller spaces. Eventually I will. But so get as much as I can, then break it loose from this and completely weld it, and then put it in the car. All right, now that I've got it welded around, there we go, a better zoom job. Now I've got it welded about 2/3 of the way around. Now I'm gonna cut it off the table and off of the brackets so I can actually flip it over and weld it the entire way, get it done that way. Of course I didn't film it, but I had an issue with cutting the welds off the table over here. So I really needed to put them in a better location. I took them because these were on the bottom, sitting right here, and they were in such a bad spot that I couldn't get any cutoff wheel in there. So what I ended up having to do was actually heat it with the TIG torch and then pry up on it to release the weld. So a little bit more than I wanted to do with that, but hey, gotta do what you gotta do. But next time, I'll think more. All right, it's all done welded. Got it polished up now real nicely. Now all I gotta do is put it in the car and weld the rear muffler back on it once I put it up in the car as well. Of course, here I am again, doing work, not filming. So let me catch up on some shit. So the joint that's here, I reused it. I just had to take the bolts out because they were so rusted and nasty. So this will slip in like that. And then fits in there real nice. I just have to hold it with the jacks in order to keep it in place. But fits in there pretty nicely once it's actually in place, and I'll show you better once it's actually in the car. The only thing is I'm gonna have to weld this in the car. It's gonna be a little difficult getting on top of that. I'm gonna be doing with the MIG welder instead of TIG since I can't get in there. And I'll show you as we go. Alrighty, check this out. You can see it real well. This thing fits real nicely up in here. It's not so tight there, but it's pretty tight right there if you can see how close that is. I can fit a finger in there. So did a really good job, or we did a really good job of getting this thing back in the original spot, because even after welding this back together, the muffler, it's still, where can I get a good angle? Up in here where my hand is, you know, you still got the space in there, and the exhaust sits right where it was originally, so good deal. Not nearly as loud as I thought it was going to be, but it's a little louder.